Hello world, it's November 20th, 2025. Welcome to a new edition of Cyber Briefing by Cyber Material. Cyber Alerts brought to you by 911 Cyber. Microsoft Office Zero Day for sale. A threat actor named Zero Player is selling a zero-day remote code execution (RCE) vulnerability combined with a sandbox escape for Microsoft Office and Windows systems on underground forums for $30,000, raising significant alarms as this exploit targets fully patched systems and could allow attackers to bypass critical security features. The exploit chain, capable of being delivered through malicious Word or Excel documents, poses a high-impact risk to organizations globally by neutralizing a primary defense against malware and enabling full system compromise. New 7-zip flaw exploited in attacks. Threat actors are actively exploiting a recently patched 7-zip vulnerability CVE 2025-11001 CVSS 7.0 that enables remote code execution (RCE) by abusing how it handles symbolic links during zip file parsing, as warned by NHS England. This flaw, which impacts 7-zip versions 21.02 through 24.09 on Windows, requires user interaction and administrative privileges for successful exploitation, often targeting service accounts to allow an attacker to write malicious files outside the intended extraction folder. Hackers target Global Protect portals. Over 2.3 million malicious sessions have targeted Palo Alto Networks' Global Protect VPN portals since November 14, 2025, marking a 40-fold spike in brute force login attempts. This unprecedented surge, tracked by Gray Noise, underscores escalating global risks to remote access systems and is strongly linked to sophisticated, coordinated threat actors using highly concentrated infrastructure, primarily hosted in Germany and Canada. Cyber events. SANS Rockville 2026 will be held on February 2 in Rockville, USA, offering an intensive week of hands-on cybersecurity training guided by top SANS instructors. The event features deep technical courses spanning hacker techniques, incident handling, cloud-native security, DevSecOps automation, threat detection, and security leadership. Attendees will benefit from a focused learning environment, interactive labs, and networking opportunities that strengthen both skills and professional connections. Find the link to register and more events in the podcast description. Cyber incidents brought to you by 911 Cyber. Eurofiber confirmed data theft. Hack on November 13th, Eurofiber France was breached after hackers exploited a software vulnerability in its ticketing system and ATE customer portal, leading to the theft of customer data, an attempted extortion, and a report to French authorities. The stolen data may be highly sensitive, potentially including SSH keys, VPN configurations, and API keys, though Eurofiber states no banking or critical systems were affected and operations remain normal. WhatsApp flaw exposed user numbers. A significant privacy flaw in WhatsApp's contact discovery mechanism allowed researchers to validate the existence of 3.5 billion mobile numbers using the app worldwide, far exceeding previous estimates. This vulnerability also enabled them to infer sensitive metadata, such as device operating systems and account age, which could be exploited for targeted attacks like spam, phishing, and identifying individuals in regions where the app is restricted. Ransomware hits LG battery subsidiary. LG Energy Solution, the South Korean battery giant, confirmed it suffered a recent ransomware attack targeting a single overseas facility, which the company claims was quickly mitigated and restored to normal operation. Simultaneously, the Acura ransomware group publicly claimed responsibility, alleging they stole a massive 1.7 terabytes of sensitive corporate and employee data, which LG Energy Solution is still investigating. Cyber jobs. On Security is hiring a junior penetration tester in the United Kingdom to support its AI-augmented, CREST-approved penetration testing team. This entry-level role is ideal for candidates passionate about ethical hacking and eager to learn from experienced testers. Responsibilities include delivering supervised web, API, and infrastructure tests, contributing to internal tooling, participating in knowledge-sharing sessions, and building a strong foundation in modern pen testing methodologies. Candidates should have a genuine interest in security, familiarity with tools like Burp Suite or Nmap, and some scripting experience. The position offers hands-on testing from day one and clear progression toward independently delivering full assessments. For more jobs, find the link in the podcast description. Cyber news brought to you by 911 Cyber. Europe scales back privacy and AI laws. Under pressure from the US and industry, the European Commission is proposing significant rollbacks to its landmark tech regulations, including simplifying GDPR's cookie pop-ups and relaxing its AI Act in an effort to spur economic growth. These changes, which also allow easier sharing of personal data and extend grace periods for high-risk AI rules, are drawing intense criticism from civil rights groups who argue fundamental safeguards are being weakened. US, UK, Australia sanction Russian host. The United States, United Kingdom, and Australia have imposed coordinated sanctions on Medialand, a Russian bulletproof web hosting company, and its related firms and executives for allegedly facilitating ransomware attacks by groups like Lockbit and Blacksuit against US victims and critical infrastructure. These sanctions aim to disrupt the company's ability to operate by prohibiting transactions with the sanctioned entities, while officials also released guidance to help organizations mitigate the risks posed by such cybercriminal services. Philippine mayor sentenced to spying. A Philippine trial court sentenced former Mayor Alice Go to life imprisonment for human trafficking after finding she had ties to Chinese criminal syndicates and was identified as Chinese national Gua Huaping. The conviction stems from a police raid on a scam cyber center on land partially owned by her, which uncovered hundreds of trafficked workers, leading to charges from the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission.
Cyber tip of the day. New 7-zip flaw exploited in active attacks. Threat actors are exploiting a recently patched 7-zip vulnerability that allows malicious zip files to write data outside the intended extraction folder. The flaw affects 7-zip versions 21.02 through 24.09 on Windows and is caused by the way the program handles symbolic links during zip parsing. If 7-zip is run with high privileges, especially under a Surface account, attackers can use this flaw to place malicious files on the system and potentially achieve remote code execution. What you should do? Update 7-zip immediately to version 25.00 or later, which contains the official fix. Avoid using outdated versions of 7-zip on systems that run with administrative or service-level privileges. Treat unexpected zip files with caution, especially if received through email or from unverified sources. Review system logs and directories for suspicious file writes outside standard extraction paths. Why this matters? This vulnerability is actively being exploited, and a proof-of-concept attack is publicly available. Because 7-zip sometimes runs under accounts with elevated permissions, attackers can use this flaw to place and execute malicious files on Windows systems. Updating vulnerable installations is essential to prevent unauthorized access or code execution. Cyber Book of the Day. Cognitive Hack by James Bone examines how human behavior, decision-making, and cognitive bias influence cybersecurity risk. Drawing on research and real case studies, the book uncovers patterns behind data breaches and highlights how subtle human factors create vulnerabilities that traditional technical controls often miss. Bone provides insights that help security professionals benchmark their risk management programs, strengthen resilience, and design forward-looking strategies that reduce the likelihood of future attacks. Cognitive Hack ultimately encourages a deeper, more holistic understanding of cybersecurity that integrates psychology, analytics, and smarter risk mitigation. Cyber Tool of the Day. Amcache Parser is a free, open-source command line tool by Eric Zimmerman used to parse the amcache.hve file on Windows systems. Highly valued in digital forensics and incident response, it extracts evidence of program installation and execution, including metadata such as file paths, timestamps, publisher details, and SHA-1 hashes. Because Amcache entries often persist even after files are deleted, the tool is especially useful for uncovering malware activity that